Welcome to the Healer's Circle, where extraordinary healers share their personal journeys, wisdom, and how to heal yourself. My hope is that their insights, practical tips, and aha moments inspire and guide you in discovering your own gifts to reach your highest potential. Welcome, Lee Osborne, the cup who turned psychic. Welcome to this little chat here today.
Thanks, Ingrid. I'm really happy to be with you. Thank you for inviting me to be on your show.
I love having you for this chat because there's many people who might say, oh, no, I wasn't born with this thing. This whole spirituality isn't for me. Or they're like, oh, well, I have this, type of job. I would never be considered spiritual because of whatever their beliefs. And I think you're a perfect, amazing example to show people it doesn't matter if you weren't, immediately doing this from the day you were born, or even if you are a sheriff or a cop or somebody, you could still ultimately, if it either calls you or you find it. So can you share a little bit about your background and how you got onto this path?
So I was, first of all, I was born in a small lumber mill town in far northern California that some of you may have heard of, Mount Shasta, in the background there. And I grew up in that area. And as we know, Mount Shasta is very, very highly spiritual. In fact, it's known as the root chakra of the world. And so, and draws people from all over. And so those of us who were born there come in at that point in that space and that time, to really become in tune with who we are. And so, I grew up there and fought forest fires out of McLeod, just about 9 miles away, and went to College of the Siskiyous and went to Chico State and did all of that sort of stuff. And in 1975, I went to work for the city police department. Mm-hmm. So that kind of lets you know that I'm old.
Right. But you've done this police work for quite a bit.
For 32 years.
I'd say that's quite a bit.
2 months and 15 days if you're keeping score at home. And I worked for the city of Dunsmuir for about 19 months, and then I took a job with the Nevada County Sheriff's Office in Truckee, California. So right on the east slope, right about 30 miles from Reno, still in California. And I worked up there in the Truckee office for a little over 20 years, and then I transferred to the main office in Nevada City. I moved to Grass Valley. And I worked in the main office for about 10 and a half years, and been retired for 18 years. And so I've done it all. I mean, everything from barking dog to homicide, major drug crimes. I became an administrator, and I was actually the senior captain and the corrections division commander when I retired, the largest and most complex division in the sheriff's office. But about halfway through that, I started working on my spiritual and psychic abilities. So the two really overlapped.
Where did the overlap come in, or where did you start kind of discovering this world? Because that's partially why we do these chats, is for people who are starting to get curious about, like, well, what are my gifts? What am I here to do? How do I find my path? So I was hoping that if you share a little bit more where your path started to come in, for others, like, okay, maybe that's for me too.
Hey, so spoiler alert, you are psychic. You do have spiritual gifts. We all come into this life with them, and some folks just can't ignore them. If you talk to kids who are just learning to talk, and before the culture gets a hold of them, they will gladly tell you about past lives and the other side and things like that. Our granddaughter did that for a number of years. But see, then our parents and the culture and the schools and the things start to grind that out of us.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there are some people that have that gift, and they just can't not do that. That's not me. and the thing about being a peace officer is that everything has got to be something you can testify to in court. You can't just go, well, that was a gut feeling. Oh, the angels told me, to look over here.
Right.
It's like, you're out of here, pal. But I had a really dear friend who, about 5 years before I really started doing this work, began working on herself.
Mhm.
And with a group of other women, they started meditating, reading auras, and really delving into the spiritual side of things. But I was always the voice of reason. Yeah, I'm the guy, I'm the grounded, I'm the one that's going to tell you what's really real, blah, blah, blah. So, and so what was the really the crowning thing? Well, I was fortunate enough to be the caregiver for my first wife when she was dying of cancer.
Mhm.
And it was the single hardest thing that I have ever done in my life.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting in the front lobby waiting room at Tahoe Forest Hospital in Truckee, with the hospice worker on one side and another friend of mine on the other side. And I'm in full uniform. I was a patrol sergeant. I'm in full sheriff's uniform. They're saying, your wife, we thought she was going to die, but she's going to come home, and you have to take care of her. You have to take care of her. And I'm sitting there sobbing, going, I can't do this. I cannot do this. I cannot do this. I cannot do this. But, the universe, in the way that it does, stepped up to the plate and took care of me. There were people who came out of the woodwork, people that I would never have ever thought of, stepped up to sit with her during the day so that I could work. And then, fast forward, this was in 1989, and then in 1990, on New Year's Day, the hospice nurse came up and said, okay, it's time. She's got to go to the hospital. You can't care for her anymore. I was sleeping. I was a zombie. I mean, you talk about the living dead, because I was only getting about an hour's rest a day. And I'm like, I can do this. I can do this. So see how I shifted
Mhm.
from I can't do this to, oh no, I can do this.
Mhm.
And over the years, I've come to see that as what just what a wonderful gift,
Mhm.
you know, what a wonderful gift that she gave me. I mean, that we loved each other, and we had a short but very, very rich relationship with each other in the short few years that we were together. And then I got to watch her transition through slowly, and to learn that control
Mm.
is an illusion.
Mm.
So it was a couple of years after that. I was in Mount Shasta. My the folks still lived in the area. My mom and my brothers. And I'm in a little bookstore in downtown Mount Shasta, and there's a flyer on the wall that says "Transform Your Life Weekend Workshop in Mount Shasta." And there was a woman's face she was familiar to me. As it turned out, we had never met each other before in this lifetime. Well, what I knew by then is that what I was doing and the way I was living my life wasn't working for me. It
Mhm.
just wasn't. And I had to make a change. So I just took the information off the poster, went back to Truckee, and I wrote her a check. Hey, I'm coming.
Yeah.
No idea.
So it's interesting because we do kind of follow the like, I don't know why I'm doing this, but I feel like doing this, and then just like trust it, right? It's like if there's a person you meet, or if there's some sort of course or some sort of event that someone invites to, and if you just have this inner knowing or feeling or whatever, just go with it, right? You'll figure out the path. That might be the first few steps towards your road. And so when you went to this event, when did you start seeing that, wait a minute, yeah, it's not just for others, like I have that in me too? Like what started to happen for you?
Well, that's the thing. She called me up. She said, "Well, I try and get to know people who are coming to my workshop. So, what do you expect?" And I said, "I don't have any idea. What do you think you're going to get out of this?" I have no idea.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think is going to go on? I said, "I have no idea. I have never done anything like this. I'm just taking a leap of faith." And so, for any of you out there that are thinking about this, you know, just take the step.
Yeah.
Just take the step because the universe will provide the path for you. And I honestly had no idea what I was getting into.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we now jump a little bit forward? Can you tell the listeners what is it that you're doing now? So then we can kind of like fill in the steps in between. Like you went into something like, oh, there's an event. Sure, I'll show up. I have no idea what to expect. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. What is it that you're doing now?
Okay. So what I'm doing now is I'm a psychic reader,
Hmm.
and I'm the best psychic reader you've never heard of.
That's excellent. I love it. And how does it work for you? How do you use any tools? Do you the channel? Do you see? How does it work for you?
What I do is I use Oracle and Angel, and increasingly now delving more and more into tarot cards.
Mhm.
And that's how I channel the information. So what I do is that I get in touch with your team of guides and angels because we all come in with a team of guardian angels that are with us through our life. And then we have a team of guides, which include our ancestors and people who have gone on before us. Could be siblings, could be grandmothers, elders, parents, whoever. Okay. And our team of guides kind of changes as we go through our stages of life, because I need different guidance now that I'm at this point in my life, as I'm getting a little closer to my expiry date than I was to my manufactured date. Okay, but I use the medium of the cards to tap in and get that information through the cards.
How do you get this information now versus what were the first baby steps initially? Like, what are you guys talking about? What am I supposed to do here? What's the comparison? What is it now versus how it started?
Oh, I had no idea. I had no idea. And so what I started to find is that yes, all this stuff that we were talking about energies and things like that, this is real stuff. And doing it in Mount Shasta, which is a very, very powerful spot, and doing it in Mount Shasta on the Wesak moon, which also is very powerful, and in a place where I was born, I mean, I had some like, whoa. And then it was so powerful for me that I went back in the fall
Mm.
and took the workshop. Now, that was scarier than the first one. Why? Well, number one, I knew what to expect this time.
Okay. Because what were the
And I knew,
first things that you had? Like you saw or you felt things? What was that?
we go up on Mount Shasta on the full moon, and she says, "Okay, you want to open yourself up for the energy." Well, I'm brand new at this, and I didn't know that there's a volume knob. Okay, so I'm just like, "Okay, let me have it," and and they did, and I froze up literally. We had to get off the mountain in
Okay.
order for me to get. I was just really vibing, and it was the weirdest thing I'd ever gone through in my life, but very, very, very powerful.
But was it the
And
vibrations? I'm just trying to give the
it
listeners like
was it
have no idea about the spiritual world. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, it was just an energy. I was vibrating like a tuning fork.
Hmm.
Really was.
Hmm.
Whoa. Okay, so this stuff is real. It's really real.
And
And
that,
then I took a very close friend of mine the woman I told you was working on herself. We were dear friends. Now, here's the other scary part is that I knew what's coming. So if she starts to see what's really inside here, all this sludge in here and what I'm really all about, are we still going to be friends?
mhm.
And we are still friends to this day.
Excellent.
Okay. So, and where else did that lead me? Well, in the following year, it led me to taking 6 weeks off. I'm now, by this time, I'm 16 years into a 32-year career.
Hmm.
And I come out of my second tour in a DEA drug task force in North Lake Tahoe, see? And I took 6 weeks off and went to Nevada City every day and became a massage therapist.
Hmm. Interesting. Right.
So,
That could be a big switch to a lot of people, right? When they're switching careers, because it's like, it's not exactly anymore what I used to. I'm looking for something else. And massage therapy or Reiki, these are like an easy tools to kind of like do the switch initially to then really open yourself up to like, okay, so
oh yeah,
fine though. Yeah.
yeah, and the people the massage I was then getting routine massage, and the therapists that were working on me go, "You need to go to massage school." I'm like, "Yeah, touch people, ew," um, but they said just go for the spiritual growth, and I got the it opened up a whole new world for me, and
And so what is
so
it now? How do you like if the person comes to you, you're using different forms of cards, how do you choose like
Mhm.
because whatever feels like it, do you see, do you hear, do you feel? Like if a client comes to you right now, what should they expect? What's the process?
Well, what I do what I do is I typically have a couple, three different decks of cards, and I have them choose the deck. If we're at an expo or something, I'll have them pick the cards. But if we're doing like a Zoom, I'll pick the cards. Doesn't it? I've done it both ways. It doesn't matter. The message is coming through for you from your team, and that's the intent.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's what we're going to get. If we're at an expo or something, it's going to be a small reading, 3 or 5 cards. If you're going to book a Zoom meeting with me for 30 minutes or 60 minutes, it's going to be a much more in-depth reading.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
so,
you look at the cards and you're getting information how?
and I'm getting information as because see, the thing about the cards is they may have now Tarot's a system, and each of the major arcana and minor arcana kind of follow the same path. Okay, but the thing about oracle cards is they say whatever the person who channeled those cards say, but those are just suggestions
Mm-hmm.
because there's an awful lot going on. If you look at the cards and you look at some of the things that's going on with them, then there's an awful lot of symbology and stuff like that that's in the card that can be that you can use to interpret. So, if you take, for example, this card, the World card, I mean, look, there's a lot of stuff going on in this card. Got the angel, and you've got all of the stuff going around her, and the bright lights, and all these sorts of things, and you've got some coins and all this sort of stuff. So what can that mean to you? It depends on the person and what they're looking for, okay? And this talks about brilliant success, spiritual alignment, being proud of yourself, and the freedom to do really whatever you want.
Yeah. And then is it like the client is also defining what they see in it in that card, or you're saying
Yes.
what, so it's going both. It's like a teamwork.
It's like a teamwork thing. See, a reading like this is really a conversation
Mm-hmm.
between us. Why are you coming to me? Do you want to know what's going on with your life path? Do you want to know, should I move from this city to that city or the other city? And the more specific the question is, the better the answer is going to be. Vague questions lead to vague answers. Should I move? Well, okay, should you move what? Should I move my hand? Should I move my car? Should I move my house across the country? We want to be a little more specific because then spirit gives us a more specific answer. So that's really what this is all about. Now, sometimes I will see your group of angels and all, and they'll be smiling, typically waving, nodding their head. I get, when I'm really really getting to the meat of the answer, I get chills.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But mostly I open my mouth and stuff comes out.
It's excellent. You just
And
start talking. It's not even like looking into information. It's just coming out as you speak.
it's just coming out. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
Because see, I can have three different people come and pull the same card,
Mhm.
but it means slightly different thing to each one of them depending on what they're looking for or where they are in the stage.
Yeah.
And
So, are some of those things that you're looking back now with all the years of experience you have, it's like, oh my God, these were some of the major ahas that going into this, I thought of something, but now as I've done it for so long, these were some like really, important things that you have figured out for yourself. Is like, wow, I didn't expect that.
oh, here's the first one really was this. I'm sitting around in massage school, and we're being taught a really intuitive massage. So we learned several different techniques. And Judy Phillips would say, okay, you're going to learn different techniques because when you get your client on the table, your hands are going to know where to go. And they're going to know what technique is. And I'm thinking, because remember, I'm coming from a point A to point B to point C type of reality.
Yes.
But you know what? Whoa, she was right. Once we started to let go of the thing and really got into it, after, especially as we're getting near the end, yeah, the hands really know where to go. Oh, wow, wow. And one of the student assistants said, okay, you'll know you've really got this when you can touch the table under the body. And I'm like, but guess what? Whoa, here it is,
Very
you
cool.
know? So we fast forward, and they really twisted my arm into coming in and start doing some of these shows. Now I was doing a healing modality called Belvaspata, that was channeled from my teacher Almeen, and I'm a Grand Master of Belvaspata. That's healing with tones of frequency and light using angel sigils. And so it was time to step on to something else. So card reading kind of came up. Well, I only had one deck of cards from Almeen. Now, most of all of these decks of cards, as I say, Tarot's a system. Most of all of the oracle cards that I use have a guidebook. Well, maybe I should show you the front of the guidebook.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
have a guidebook, okay?
Yeah.
Which again, it's a guidebook. It's nobody was talking to any burning bushes or anything like that. It's a guidebook. But this card deck from Almeen, a lot of it is pretty esoteric, and it didn't have a guidebook. So you're kind of reading what's on the face of the card, but how is that interpreted for the person that's sitting across the table? So the way I learned how to read cards was really using my intuition first.
Yes.
And so that's what a lot of this is about. And so now what I do is I use the guidebooks, especially on newer decks, and I'm really new at tarot, but I will look at the card and see what does it have to say. What's the imagery saying to me? What are kind of the little things down here? But not everything that's written down here is meaningful to everybody that's coming to see me. And then, well, what did I miss? Is there something in the guidebook? Is
Hmm.
there some other little tidbit there?
Hmm.
So that's how. So I gradually getting better and better and better and better, because this is a journey.
Yeah. Even if you already have done it for a long time, there's still always so much more to learn, right? Because there's just endless, which is amazing. And I think this is one thing also. It's good to encourage people who are just starting their journey kind of thing, like just go with it, right? Like what are
Yes.
the tips you would give to the people who are like, oh, I don't know, I kind of want to enter this world, I don't know, like am I afraid, should I don't know, what would you tell these people?
Well, the thing about it is just take that step.
Yes.
Okay. First, you have to have the courage to want to make the change.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, it was scary for me, but if I can do it, you can do it.
Mm.
Okay. Look at the things that are kind of diametrically opposite, being a peace officer and being a psychic reader. You would, if you're to pick two ends of the spectrum, you probably couldn't go much different than that. I mean, you can add politician or lawyer or a whole bunch of different things in there. Engineers for sure. But I know a lot of people who started out as engineers. Radley Valentine, who wrote this, who channeled this deck, and he's a guy that I'm studying with. He's a CPA.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about, bean counter nerds. This is,
Yeah.
and he's one of the most talented psychics that I know of.
Yeah.
If we can do it, you can.
That's
And
great.
so, just go to an esoteric bookstore, come to a psychic fair and talk to us. Okay. We all started somewhere at some time. And it's not when you start, it's that you start.
Hmm.
And understand we're looking for, and I have to keep reminding myself of this, we're looking for progress, not perfection, because all is perfect, even its imperfection.
Yeah.
And if you're wondering how to do this, there are a zillion and a half YouTube videos on how to meditate.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Uh,
these are some of the tips you're saying, start from somewhere, do something,
yeah,
mint is calling, do meditation. What would you suggest to yourself if you could go back and tell your younger you, say, hey, whatever you choose, the age, teenager, 20s or something, what would you say, you know what, that could have been useful to know at the time?
I would say pay more attention.
Yeah.
Pay more attention. Because, see, here's the other thing, is that, hey, I was 16 years old in 1967, the summer of love. And I was in Mount Shasta, so what a perfect spot.
Yeah.
What a really perfect spot to really have embraced a lot of those philosophies and started to learn more and more. This is when a lot of the Eastern philosophies are starting to come out. Everybody was going to India. The Beatles went to India. Uh, um, there was experimentation with mind-altering substances. Now, I probably wouldn't have done that sort of stuff, but but be more aware of meditation. They called it transcendental meditation at the time, but pay more attention to those, the Maharishi Mahesh Yoga, who came to the United States, and start doing those sorts of things. Because, see, once I started working on myself, then I became a much better officer,
Yes.
and I became a much better administrator and leader.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's my question, actually. How do because people are often like, oh, well, let me go fix the world or let me do something else. But you're also saying, well, you come here first, and that's where the whole world actually
Yes.
changes out there. So, how does or what is your self-care, or like, what do you do? Where should people kind of begin with their own self-care or?
One is to really become aware, and you become aware through meditation. You have to go within, because we are the microcosm of the macrocosm, as within, so without. Okay, so the world appears to be a dumpster fire. But here's the thing about a dumpster fire, it's only contained within the dumpster. But how does that, I can wander around like I used to, being morally outraged at all this external stuff. And then I'm a very unhappy and very angry and very stressed out person. But I don't want to live my life that way.
Yeah.
You know, I really don't. So I am creating peace within myself. My wife and I talk about being in an attitude of gratitude for all the things and all the blessings we have and all the blessings that we have to come. You know, so it means turning off the TV, not getting caught up in doom scrolling or anything like that, in doing the meditation, in being mindful of the food that we eat, you know, and getting exercise and spending that time. I
Yeah.
mean, look, there are 60 minutes in every hour. There are 24 hours in every day. There are 365 days in every year. Do you have 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Out of all of those minutes, do you have 5 minutes to invest in yourself? Do you have 15 minutes? Can you just sit alone with your tea or your coffee in the morning? Can you get up a little earlier or stay up a little later while the house is quiet?
Mm-hmm.
You know? And just an appreciation of sitting there and enjoying your beverage, that's a meditation in and of itself.
Right.
Your mind is still, you're kind of at the end of the day, you're going through all the things you went through the day, you're letting it go, and you're going, okay, well, all right. You know, and as the Usi teaches us in Reiki, it's just for today. I'm not going to be judgmental. Just for today, I'm not going to be angry. Just for today. But and here's the lesson that I learned, because see, and if anybody who's dealing with any addictions or knows people, it's the one day at a time. You know, let me do this just for today. But here's the thing: sometimes that's too long.
Yeah.
Because in dealing with my wife, I learned that sometimes it's just this minute.
Yeah.
It's just this 5 minutes. I just need to get through this one task because that's what's before me now. I can't worry about anything else. I just need to do this one thing.
Yeah.
Because, and allow me to quote to you from that early 21st century philosopher and NFL Hall of Fame linebacker, Ray Lewis. What's tomorrow got, or what's yesterday got for you? Nothing. And tomorrow is too far away.
Mm-hmm.
I get chills every time I say this because, you know, we all talk about living in the moment, blah, 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 blah. But when have you ever had somebody say to you, tomorrow is too far away?
Yeah.
All you have is right now. What's right in front of you?
Yeah.
So
And
it's this choice.
I love how you made the meditation sound so simple, because I think a lot of times people are put off because it's like, oh, I don't know how to meditate. I can't sit still. But you kind of made it sound so simple, like it's not even that. Just sit down for a second with your favorite beverage, wherever, for a moment, just for that very brief moment, however brief that is. And that is it.
That's where you start. See, and then you just and as thoughts go across, you just let them go across. Don't dwell on it. Just let it go across. Okay, yeah, yeah. All right, I need to put gas in the car, but not right now. You know,
Let them pass by like the train.
let them just flow by. So but there a city park? Is there a little regional park around somewhere that I mean, even just a little square in the middle of a block where somebody's planted some flowers or there's some grass or something where you can go.
Even just close your eyes, open the window,
Yeah.
or light a candle, do it that way. But there's always a way. I'm gonna have to like wrap this thing up because we're coming to the end. But it's been a pleasure, Lee, to have your insight, to have your story, to share with the listeners, and give some tips of how simple going into it can be. It doesn't have to be so difficult, and it can be for anyone, even like you, be a ex-sheriff or a lawyer. And just thank you for sharing your story and everything else with the listeners.
My pleasure. I mean, remember, we're told you got to work hard, but this isn't. This work is gentle. 50 years ago, this was harder for us because here in the Western world, we were not as in tune. But if we fast forward a half a century or so, we're becoming more and more and more in tune. And so this stuff is becoming easier and easier for us. And it was not ever meant to be hard work, you know? So thank you again, Ingrid. I am so blessed to have been on your show. Thank you for including me. And hey, I'm here if you want to have me back.
Absolutely. We're going to add your information if anybody wants to reach out to you, so they know how to go about that. But thank you for sharing your story and helping the people who are in need. Thanks so much. Thank you for joining us. If you are a healer with valuable insights to share, we'd love to hear from you. As together, we can inspire, heal, and raise one another. Till we meet again, sending you love, light, and gratitude.